Hi all, welcome back to a new video on the channel. I hope you're all doing well today. We are going to be taking a look at round 32 predictions for the upcoming Premier League weekend of football. Of course, starting on Friday night with West Ham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. I've been doing all the Isthmian ones recently, so I really want to, get onto the Premier League ones as well, because being a West Ham fan, there's still lots to play for in the Premier League for us. And of course, the Isthmian League will end a lot earlier than the Premier League, so it'd be nice to have a season that keeps me going that little bit longer till the end of May instead of just till the end of April. So we will put all the fixtures here on the side, and then we will go through them one by one and have a little bit of a discussion. So let's start off with, of course, the Hammers. You can see the big Mark Noble photo in the background. Of course, West Ham United have had a very poor season. That does not need to be, emphasized any more than it already has. Of course, there has been a massive change in fortunes under Nuno over the last few months. But this weekend, he's got a massive job to do. It is a humongous game with us sat in the relegation zone and with arguably our easiest game left of the season against Wolves at home. Of course, we've lost to Wolves twice this season, both away, conceding 6 goals in total. And the Wolves under Rob Edwards of the last few months, they are not the Wolves that everyone was playing at the start of the season. I think the game against us was a real turning point in Wolves' season. And they've got some good players. They've got some really solid players. And they're just all working so hard at the moment. But nonetheless, West Ham are, coming into this with some really good results in previous weeks. Of course, a fantastic draw at home against Manchester City, a fantastic away win at Fulham. I know obviously the result against Villa was uberly disappointing, but I think some of that is down to injuries in the warm-ups that changed the formation. We started really, really slow, and at the end of the day, we never really got into that game, and I don't think we ever deserved anything out of it. I hope it was just a blip. A few players have been rested against Leeds, of course, in that really bit, disappointing to be knocked out on penalties. But nonetheless, I hope that doesn't kill momentum. I'm still going to back West Ham to win. I think it's non-negotiable. I think a win is so, so important. I think you just can't deny just how important it is. So I think it will be tight. I don't think West Ham are going to run away with it as much as I hope they do. But I think it's going to be a 2-1 Irons win. Which, as I say, will leave me biting my nails on Friday night. But as long as we get 3 points, I'm not going to be complaining. So, moving on, we've got Arsenal Bournemouth. Of course, Arsenal having a bit of a rotten time in other competitions. I say that, but they just got a 1-0 win away at Sporting Club Portugal, which is a fantastic result to go back to the Emirates with. A lot of people will already be assuming they've put their place in that semi-final. Nonetheless, their Premier League form's good. 4 straight wins in a row, and of course, they are still those 9 points clear of Manchester City. Manchester City do, of course, have that game in hand to play, and they have to play each other. I'm still backing Arsenal to win the title personally, as much as I hope it doesn't happen. But nonetheless, Arsenal have had players that have had a really good rest over the international break. They've gone away and got a good momentum win against Sporting, so I'm sure they will be looking good against a Bournemouth side who are sitting 13th in the league with not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 straight draws. I really like Bournemouth. Really like the manager. I like what they are able to achieve every year with such a lower budget compared to so many other teams in this league. And as we know, start of the season, they sold Zanesi, Zabani, they sold Huijsen, Kerkez. It was just ridiculous, really, the amount of players they lost. Dangotara, Semenyo during the season. So I think they've been good. I think they will give Arsenal a game, but unfortunately, I think Arsenal will just be a bit too strong on the day. So for that reason, I'm going to back Arsenal at home at the Emirates to get a comfortable 2-0 win. Let's speed some of this up. We've got Brentford taking on Everton. Now, who would have thought at the start of the season that come game week 32, we'd be discussing a fixture between Brentford and Everton being a European clash? Can't quite get my head around that, but it is true. Albeit it may only be for the Conference League. But with Chelsea and Liverpool only 2 and 3 points ahead, respectively, in those Champions League spots, because we've been granted in the Premier League a fifth Champions League spot, and of course Chelsea in sixth in that Europa League spot, 2 points ahead. They're both underperforming massively. So a win this weekend for either of these two sides would really put the pressure on both the Reds and the Blues, of course. So form is very similar. Of course, Brentford unbeaten technically in their last 4, although 3 of those are draws. And Everton last time out getting such a fantastic win, 3-0 home win against the team they're trying to maybe even knock out of those Europa League spots, Chelsea. They played really well. Everton are so defensively solid. That's one thing that I think so many teams are struggling with, is they're so defensively resolute, Everton, and their away form is so good. So although I think this is going to be a mightily tough one to call, and I think many people are going to struggle to predict this one, I really am tempted to go to Everton, but I think I'm going to play this boringly safe and go for a 1-1 draw. Brentford to go 4 games straight, just picking up a point. But Brentford's running has been really good, and I think they'll be disappointed that in the last few weeks they haven't kicked on a bit more than what they have. Anyway, moving on, we've got Burnley. Burnley are at home at Turf Moor, taking on Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton, maybe a month ago, I was thinking, is this a team that West Ham can drag into this relegation zone with us? Because from like November to maybe even February, they were 1 win in that whole time span. But recently they've just been on absolute mission. 4 wins in their last 5, including scalps against Liverpool, Brighton, Liverpool, Sunderland away, Brentford away. Some really, really solid wins. Welbeck is on fire at the moment, of course. Burnley, on the other hand, just can't get a win to save their lives. Although they're not conceding a crazy amount of goals, and they are picking up an odd point here or there. They're just not good enough, and I think an on-form Brighton side at the moment may just be a bit strong for them. So I'm going to go for a Brighton 1-0 away win. Moving on, we've got Liverpool are taking on Fulham. Fulham, of course, are technically only 4 points off Chelsea in those Europa League places. They are another one that will 100% be eyeing up those European places. It's been a while since Fulham have been in Europe, but they've had some historic nights there, even in my lifetime. So it'd be fantastic to see them make it. Apart from, of course, that West Ham loss we discussed, they're unbeaten in their last 5, with only one of those being draws. So Liverpool are going to have a mighty tough time, especially after coming back from Parc des Princes, where they sort of, got taught a bit of a lesson. Maybe that's a bit harsh, actually. I don't think taught a lesson is the correct way to put it. But PSG were just absolutely fantastic, as it was expected. Nonetheless, Liverpool are 3 games without a win in the Premier League, which is uber disappointing. Their last one coming to Brighton, of course. A really, really disappointing draw against Tottenham. I was backing them all the way there, and they just couldn't do it. Richarlison finally breaking them down. And of course, that incredibly disappointing 2-1 loss to Wolves away from home. What an underwhelming season in all honesty it's been for Liverpool, but for some reason I'm going to give Liverpool the benefit of the doubt once more. Feels a crazy thing to do with their current form, but I'm going to back them to win narrowly at home at Anfield 2-1. I feel really stupid for doing that, but they've got one more go. They've got one more go, mainly because it's my dad and brother's team. Right, we've got Crystal Palace. They are taking on Newcastle United. Crystal Palace, yet again, is another team like Brighton. I thought, can we drag them into it? They are more than safe now. They've done more than enough. 2 wins and a draw in their last 5. They're just looking pretty solid. Robert Glasner, making sure that his legacy isn't too tainted. Hasn't just gone and absolutely steamrolled them. They've been okay in recent weeks, had some, pretty good results, including beating, Tottenham away, where Tottenham had that obviously mad end to the first half. Last loss was, of course, against Manchester United away, so it's been okay for Palace. But Newcastle obviously sitting 12th. They will obviously still believe that they can push on and try and get themselves into Europe as well. Whether it's the Conference League, Europa League, who knows? But they are not a million miles off. There is still time for Newcastle to sneak their way back up and get in. They will be hurting after that defeat at home to rival Sunderland. Sunderland, of course, doing the double over, and that'll be uber disappointed. So I have no doubt in my mind that they will be up for this one, especially as before Sunderland they managed to beat Chelsea and they managed to beat Manchester United. I think they're going to be up for this one, and I think they're going to go to South Park and take all 3 points off the Eagles. So for that reason, again, a bit like a lot of these fixtures, I don't think it'll be a whitewash, and I'm going to go for a Newcastle 2-1 win. Good old boring 2-0. Anyway, let's go back into those relegation and European places. We've got a really interesting game between Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa. Aston Villa are playing as we speak. I'm going to be watching the second half once I finish recording this to give myself a bit of an update, because obviously a lot of the Premier League teams have been out of action, of course, unless they were featured in the FA Cup. Nottingham Forest, of course, last time out will be sky high on confidence. An unbelievable win against Tottenham Hotspurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, of course. Massively important. They've now got 5 points out of their last possible 9, which are all massively important points. It's also meant that they have now cleared themselves 3 points away from West Ham in those relegation zones, and of course have a significantly better goal difference after West Ham were conceding goals for fun at the start of the season. Aston Villa, of course, sitting 4th. Chelsea and Liverpool doing them a massive favour by just being so poor. It just means that I think the top 4 is almost confirmed now, and it's a dogfight between Liverpool, Chelsea, and a couple others possibly for those Champions League, that Champions League 5th spot. Aston Villa, of course, they'll be mega relieved that the 2 below them have been really poor, but because before that 2-0 win against West Ham, they did go 3 games without a point, which is, pretty crazy. That's unlike an Unai Emery side, but they're very solid. They've got a great team. They've just had a couple players like Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins, that maybe just haven't been in fantastic form, but they've still got great players across the park. I remember the last game I watched, Amadou Onana, for example, against West Ham was absolutely fantastic. He was an absolute beast, mentality monster in the middle of the park that day. So, of course, I think some of this is my West Ham head, but I've got to back Aston Villa to go away and win this one. Of course, they have got that Europa fixture tonight. How do I call this one? Let's go. I think Nottingham Forest poor ability in front of goal to score a bit more often. I'm going to go 1-0 Villa. Let's go that. Defensively solid, resolute performance from Villa. They'll pinch a goal and get all 3 points. So we're into our last 3 fixtures. We've got 2 more Sunday fixtures. The first is Sunderland versus Tottenham Hotspur. How big is that? Sunderland 11th in the league, 43 points, joint with Brighton with just a bit of a worse goal difference. They are at home. We know their home form is fantastic, and we know they're a much better side when Granit Xhaka's in it, which he is. Last time out, beating Newcastle away, doing the double over the Toon. They must be on sky high this season. I don't think in Sunderland fans' wildest dreams they expected to, be where they are this season and have done the double over Newcastle. But there is a lot of work still to do, especially if they want to keep their bragging rights and stay above Newcastle. Tottenham, as we've spoke about multiple times in this video, just looking appalling. Can't win a game to save their life. But of course, they do have Roberto De Zerbi now taking charge. Personally, as much as I don't want to admit it, I think it will help him. I think he's a better manager, and I think he will get a bit more out of the players than Igor Tudor did. So I'm backing a much improved performance, and it hurts me to say it, I'm going to back them to get a point away at Sunderland, which is no easy feat. I think they're going to get a new manager bounce, but just hopefully they don't get that new manager bounce so bad that they don't get all the points. Hopefully, I'm going to go 2-2 draw, and hopefully West Ham beat Wolves. Tottenham lose Sunderland, and it's Tottenham in the relegation zone. And we just start steering ourselves clear, but that is a big if. There's a lot of if, buts, and maybes in that. Last two fixtures. The last one, we have the 4:30 on Super Sunday. We have Chelsea taking on Manchester City. Chelsea, of course, have been so poor recently. We've mentioned them a few times, losing to Newcastle, losing to Everton. They've been really, really poor in recent weeks. Of course, I think, as silly as it may sound, I think that 7-0 win over Port Vale will do them the absolute world of good. Really, really do mean that. But nonetheless, they're playing a Manchester City side which will still be hoping there's a chance at the title, because a win against Arsenal and they're winning their game in hand would put them 3 points off. And with 8 games still to go for City, it's not done. It's just not done yet. Although as I say, I still am backing Arsenal. It's not done. And the FA Cup game against Liverpool, they look fantastic. The Carabao Cup final in that second half against Arsenal, they look fantastic. For me, it'd be a bit of a surprise if Chelsea get anything out of this. So I'm going to go 2-0 Manchester City away win, which would be, if they go there and keep a clean sheet, that's a fantastic result. But I think this looks so good at the moment. That's what I'm going for. After that, we have our very last fixture of the game week 32. This is Manchester United. They are taking on Leeds United. Manchester United, of course, are sitting third in the league. They are nailed on for their Champions League spot. They'll be praying that they can just keep themselves above Villa, get that third spot, so they can start calling themselves at least the third best team in England. They've had a massive improvement this year, there's no doubt about it. Signing the likes of Cunha and Mbermo, getting Premier League players that know where the net is, that have Premier League experience, that have proven it in the Premier League. It's just been so important for them. There's no doubt about that at all. Instead of going out and spending all this big money on, for example, Rasmus Højlund like they did when he was at Atalanta, Leeds United will be coming off an absolute high after beating West Ham on penalties, getting themselves to an FA Cup semi-final. There's no hiding it. I'm extremely jealous. I was a bit hurt by the result, and I was a bit gutted that the lineup, it was a really weak squad overall, and I don't think there was a crazy amount Nuno necessarily could have done about that. And I've got to be honest, I don't think any Leeds players were exactly outstanding. I think they just, they were just quite defensively resolute, and they went away to the London Stadium and just pulled through and took some great penalties. So Leeds United, of course, they are nowhere near safe from relegation yet. And of course, if West Ham do beat Wolves and Leeds do lose this game, which is going to be my prediction, Leeds will be very, 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 very close to that relegation zone. So for me, let's get a prediction. Obviously, Man United on great form, 3 wins out of their last 5. Leeds, on the other hand, haven't won in their last 5. I think, especially with Manchester United at home, it's only going one way. I'm going to back Manchester United to go and win 3-1, just because I think United, do quite like to concede a goal, don't they? I think that's for sure. No clean sheet in their last 4 games, so I expect Leeds to just pinch one. No matter what. So there you go. There's all 10 Premier League fixtures predicted for this weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully I can see West Ham out of this relegation zone again. That would be absolutely lovely. And for it to last more than 24 hours like it did a few weeks ago, for it to last a whole game week would be absolutely lovely. But there you go. Good luck to your team, unless you're Tottenham, Nottingham Forest or Leeds. And yeah, let's see how this goes, and hopefully we'll do this next week. So if you did enjoy, like, subscribe. See you next week.